this is Brennan Wilmington, and welcome back to the Lumen Stock Car Invitational, season number 4, race number 16, and we are here for the third year in a row at the Denver Motorsports Park. And even though it's not kicking off the second half of the season this year, it's still one of the first races after the All-Star break anyway. Like I said, this is our third time going here. This big 2.28 mile pretty much super speedway, but it races closer to something like an Auto Club or a Michigan than it does a proper super speedway. No restrictor plates or anything on the cars, but still a very large track and a lot of ways to make moves at this racetrack for sure. Join alongside me for the second time this season is Echo Evans Ross, and Echo, you've run races at this track before. What's your experience here? What are you expecting to see today?
Yeah, we ran Osco here earlier this year, which, kind of a sister series to this. And we ran a really long race, about 170 so laps. And we went the first 130 laps without a single caution flag. So I expect a lot of clean racing in this one. I think it's very possible we go without a caution entirely, but they're going to be very antsy, and the draft is going to play a big role in this track too. So I think what you're going to see, especially in the corners where it's a lot flatter than say some other tracks, is you're going to want cornering to be good, to be very good, but straightaway speed is going to be really important as well. These cars are going to be really, really fast on the straightaways, and you want to make sure that you're drafting well and keeping up with everybody.
Yeah, and taking a look at the points here, Tim Berry, who was slipping over the past couple of weeks, gained a lot of points on second place here. He's now 90 points ahead, and he's held this large lead for a long while at this point. And there have been races where he has really not shown up, but he's been consistent enough to kind of keep that large gap. If you are someone like Tyler Landry or Corbin Taps, or even like a Zach Dearman, trying to catch up to him, what's the best way of going about it here to try and eat into that points lead?
Well, when you're so far back of Barry, like those two are, can't really do much, especially in one race weekend. So, you just have to try and run the best you can and just hope that something happens to the 11, and just maybe, you can't really chip away at it. You got to kind of hope something bad happens. I know we're not that late into the season, so you can slowly chip away at it, but you can't really worry about points racing when you're trying to chase down someone that's far ahead of you. So
Yeah, Tim Berry, he again at Evergreen and Pocono, he struggled, but he had a good day at Kentucky. He finished in fifth. Had a chance at the win there, but he's also starting up front here today. But nobody's starting ahead of the 45 of James Harvin. He is your pole sitter for today's event, and alongside him is the 62 car of Vinny Scholes. Row 2, like we mentioned before, Tim Berry in the 11, and the 57 of Shauna Everett. Oh, so close to a win last week at Kentucky, and that's another track that kind of races similarly to this one. Of course, it's a lot shorter than this racetrack, so this is kind of like a mega version of Kentucky, but the flat corners and the wide corners are very similar to that racetrack, so we actually see quite a few drivers that were running good at Kentucky starting up front here in this race. One of them is Lulu Connie, who for the second straight week is starting inside the top 5, and alongside her is the 39 of Laken Herndon. Row 4 is the 19 car of Jake Sidney and the 32 of Paula Sasikwa. Then it's the 88 of Billy Smith and the 52 car of Ashley Blake. Blake Everett Motorsports has been great at qualifying over the past few weeks, so we'll see if they can turn some of those good qualifying runs into good results. And then in row number 6, we've got Jack Gino and Corbin Taps. Row number 7 is Tyler Landry in the 66 and the 3 car of George Bryan. Cooper Spur starting in row 8 alongside the 77 car of JT Boyd. Boyd's teammate, Adrian Pearson, starts behind him alongside Holly Martin. Spencer Rallison is in the 2 car this week. He starts in 20th alongside the 99 of Akia Tajima. Kate Summers in the 92 alongside the 1 car of Kevin DuPont. The 65 of Tamarin Bellinger starting in row number 12, and they're starting alongside the 40 car of Adrian Wheeler. Then it's the 29 of JB Chanot and the 18 of Zach Dearman the two drivers that battled it out for the win back in the season opener at Atlanta. And then a couple of Checker Flag Racing cars. Checker Flag Racing has won both races at Denver in the past. The first one was with Shauna Everett in season 2, and then the last one was with Damon Kirby while he was in a hot seat car in just his second Cup Series start. And it was really that race that was kind of the jumping off point for Kirby getting this ride here at Checkered Flag Racing. He's also coming off of a third place finish last week at Kentucky. So maybe this could be a good chance for him to go on a roll here, but he's gonna have to start from 28th, so he's got a lot of work to do. And alongside him is his teammate, the 9 of Lori Jackson. Row 15 is Kobe Hollenbeck in the 79 and the 41 of Karina Willis Calloway. Then in row 16, you've got the 85 of Charlie McCarran and the 50 car of Jacob Lopez. Then it's the 58 of Joanna Clark alongside the 55 of Michael Harvin. And rounding out the field today is number 8 of Darren Walker, who got disqualified from qualifying. And so he has to start in the 35th and final position here today. There was only one D&Q for today's race, and it was the 70 car of Andrew Kreider. We're going to have 44 laps here at the Denver Motorsports Park. It's going to be a one-stop race. They're going to be pitting just after halfway, around lap 24-25. So things could get interesting with that one pit stop. But really, the name of the game here is it's not as easy to go through the field as it is at Kentucky, but it is relatively easy if you've got a fast car. Nailing that pit stop is going to be very important for these guys. So that's going to be a crucial part of the race. We may or may not get a caution. We've had one race that's ended under yellow here, the only LSCI race that has ended under caution, in fact. And last year's race went completely caution-free. So we're going to have to see how clean these guys are at this track.
Drivers, start your engines.
And the field will roll off the backstretch here at the Denver Motorsports Park. No mechanical failures off the grid. Echo, who do you think is going to win the race today?
Well, I think I'm going to go with Tim Berry in that 11 car, the California native. He's run very good this season. He's been very fast, especially on these speedways. I think this is the perfect track type for him to rebound and get another win at. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take Berry.
Yeah, for how good he's been this season, he has only one win, which, I mean, his teammate Tyler Landry has 3 wins this season. So he's really been killing them with consistency, not necessarily the outright wins, but this could definitely be a race that he ends up winning here today. But we've got several other heavy hitters up here, as well as some surprises that we might get. So who knows who will be the leader at the end of lap number 44. Pace car is going to pull off, and it will be the 45 of James Harvin leading them to the green alongside the 62 of Vinny Scholes. And we are green flag racing here at the Denver Motorsports Park.
Great jump off the line for Tim Berry, and from third to second there, you got the 42.
Lulu
Is actually
Connie
starting
making
to
a
power
move for
through.
the
Here
lead.
comes Lulu. Yeah, here comes Lulu. She just powered through for the lead. Look at
Yeah,
that.
she's got a little bit too much momentum in the corner, though, and that's going to give the 45 and the 32 a chance to jump on her here. Paula Sasikwa, the part-time driver for Pacific Racing, is going to try and lead lap number 1, and it was almost dead even at the line, but it looks like Sasikwa got it. But here comes Jack Gino down to the inside with his teammate Jake Sidney. And these first few laps are getting crazy here at Denver, but it looks like the 81 is now going to move into the lead, and they're 3 wide behind for second.
They were 5 wide at the start-finish line for third, and that was crazy what they were going for. They're getting real aggressive here early on. I mean, I guess there's not as much time, you know. There's only 44 laps here, but
that.
whoa.
They're stacking up on the exit of 4. and there is enough room to go 4 wide here. It's a very wide racetrack, but you got to be careful because they slide around a lot here, especially on a hot and slick day like today. It's 88 degrees here in Aurora, Colorado, the eastern suburb of Denver. So you're going to see the cars sliding all over the place, and that's just that's what we've typically seen at this racetrack, just because of where it is on the schedule. It's always been a very hot, slick racetrack, not much grip. The 88 car of Billy Smith has made his way up to second. He got close to winning at Pocono a few weeks ago, and now he's trying to challenge Jack Gino for the lead here. These front three have tried to pull away. The 88 gets into the 81 off of turn 4. That's going to slow them both down, and that's going to pull Jake Sidney into this battle. Not too far behind them, Lulu Connie and Lakin Herndon are battling for fourth, but it is a 3-car battle for the lead right here. Billy Smith does end up getting the lead, and Gino's going to fall back to third.
That's another thing here is when you go 3 wide here, like how you're going to see them go 3 wide. They're going to fan out a lot on that front straightaway. You need to narrow it up enough to where you're not on that apron in the corner, because the apron's got a lot less banking and the apron is really wide. So you may go into it and you think you have enough space and room to keep the pace up, but that just rarely ever works. I think there's only been like one time I've ever seen it work.
Side by side for second, the Hudson Motorsports teammates. Both of them have a win this season. Jake Sidney has 2 of them, and one of them came in the Lumen 500. He has been very impressive as a rookie this season. It looks like he's going to lose third to Lakin Herndon, who surprisingly has not won yet this year. He has been one of the better drivers here, but he's had a lot of bad luck in that 39 car. The Toyotas as a whole, 15 races in, have only won 1 race. That was with a Kia Tajima at Kansas, so Toyota as a whole has been struggling. But Lakin Herndon has been, he's been as solid and consistent as ever, just has yet to go to victory lane. And he's going to move up into second here. Going further back, the 45, our pole sitter, currently running in 9th. Cooper Spur currently in the top 10. Paula Sasiqua's still in the top 10. Let's check in on where Tim Barry is, and he has lost a lot of positions. He's all the way back to 20th here on lap number 6, so not a great start here by Tim Barry. This could be the opportunity that Corbin Taps and Tyler Landry might want to see here to just get a little bit of points on him. And the 39 is all over the back of the 88, so we might be seeing a pass for the lead here as the 88 goes wide in turn 4. That's going to give Lakin Herndon a lane. And we've seen quite a few lead changes here on the start of this race. They're going to be side by side as they go across the line. Looks like Smith's probably going to lead the lap, but Herndon's going to have the inside going into turn 1.
Yeah, and I'm noticing here a lot, especially, is that this has been a real bottom feeder. The top really has not worked particularly well, and that's kind of in sharp contrast to how the Oscar race was, which we ran a lot earlier in the year. It ran in what month did it run in? I think it was like April. And that race, you could run the top side. Here, they really just can't run the top. You got to run right on the bottom, and we're seeing a lot of passes, by cars that are able to get down to the bottom.
They're going to be very close here for the lead. Again, the 39 still in front, but Jack Gino is trying to make a bid for the lead on the inside, but first he has to get by Billy Smith for second. This has been some great racing up front so far. Top 4 kind of broken away. Shauna Everett, Lulu Connie back in 5th and 6th. 2 drivers that had really good runs at Kentucky. Tyler Landry is up to 8th following the 45 car. Ashley Blake's up here now. How about Lori Jackson, who started pretty far back in 27th for Checkered Flag Racing? We mentioned this team is 2-0 at this racetrack. They've had a very bad season here in 2025. But Lori Jackson has been pretty solid and consistent for them. But not necessarily setting the world on fire. Oh, they're going to bottle up. The 24 got into the wall, and that's going to allow the 16 to get down to the inside. Thankfully, that wasn't worse than it was. Just a little bit of a slowdown for the 24 and the 9, but up in front, it's still Lakin Herndon. The top 4 remains unchanged. Lulu Connie and Shauna Everett going side by side for 5th. And again, like I mentioned, these 2 ran very well at Kentucky as well. So these 2 are having a very nice start to their second halves of the year, which is great because the 57 had a very rough start to the season. Kind of started picking it up around race number 11, and she's just kind of keeping that momentum that she's had lately. And then Lulu is a part-time driver, so anytime she gets to race, she's got to make the most of it.
Yeah, and Lake and Herndon doing a great job getting to the lead, just kind of sitting there. You mentioned Herndon hasn't won this year. I think this would be a great place for him to finally get that win. They've run pretty solidly all year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the 39, I believe, is 12th in points right now, 11th in points, my bad. He is one of the highest up drivers that hasn't won yet. Not the highest up, but he is up there, and they are getting close to each other again, right on the back bumper. They might go 3 wide for the lead here, and they will go 3 wide for the lead off of turn 4. Jack Gino to the inside, Billy Smith in the middle, Lake and Herndon trying to hold on the top. I think Gino's momentum's going to sputter out here, so it should be between the 39 and 88 going into turn 1, and neither of these drivers have won yet this season. So both going for their first wins of the year. We have not had someone score their first win of the year since race number 10. That was the Lumen 500. And we've run 5 races since then, and they've all been repeat winners.
Yeah, looking like we might have a driver that isn't a repeat winner, though, because we got a bunch of them up here. Obviously, Billy Smith and Lake and Herndon are up here. You got Lulu Connie running very well as well, though.
She's going to try and make a move.
She's been really good through a lot of the practice sessions here at Denver, so maybe she's got something cooking up. She just took 4th from Jake Sidney.
Jack Gino took 2nd from Lake and Herndon, but Herndon's going to do the crossover here in turn number 2. This is a track where we see a lot of that. We see a lot of crossovers at this racetrack. You'll see the drivers make the move in turn 3 and kind of send it in the corner, but they lose grip in the middle of the corner, and that allows the others to go in, and Herndon's going to try and dive it into turn 3. Billy Smith's going to block him. They're going to go up the racetrack a little bit. The 39 still trying to peek the nose under the 88, but wasn't quite able to get under there. And he's going to try and make the move on the front stretch. I don't know if going down on the apron was necessarily the best idea, but he got underneath, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, the apron's fine on the straightaways. You just can't do it in the corners.
Herndon's going to retake the lead away from Billy Smith, and that could bring Jack Gino into a battle for 2nd. That was pretty tight off the corner. But Gino wasn't able to get underneath, so the 39 and 88 still 1-2. They swapped the positions. Turn 3 has been very interesting so far in this race. We see a lot of bottlenecks there. The 81 almost got into the quarter panel of the 88. He's getting very aggressive.
I think they did make a little bit of contact there, because the 88 kind of shimmied a little bit there. If the 81 got deep into the corner there. Still fighting for 4th back here. That's Lulu Connie and Jake Sidney.
Yeah, Sidney's going to retake the position. The 88 trying to get back under the 39 through 1 and 2. Side by side once again. A lot more passing for the lead than I was expecting. I mean, like, Denver's not necessarily known for having a lot of lead changes, but we've had tons of them here. I think these 3 cars are all very even with each other, so it'll be very interesting to watch this dynamic as it goes on throughout the race. Billy Smith is back out in front once again. And it looks like James Harvin, had an incident on the front straightaway that didn't cause a caution, judging by the skid marks and how far back he is. Might have involved another car.
We might have figured out what happened to cause the incident.
Yeah, Kia Tajima has some damage. So does Corbin Taps. So it looks like a few drivers were in that, but I guess it didn't cause a caution, so that's interesting.
Well, I guess the race officials decided that it wasn't worth bringing out a yellow. It looks like it was only 1 car, so...
Looks like 2
actually, no, that looks like 2. That looks like 2 cars, actually. Well, who would the 2nd car be then?
Yeah, no one else is...
back.
Possibly one of the cars that got damage. Either the 16 or whoever else.
I guess we'll take a look at that later.
Yeah, if we don't have a caution in this race, we will have a little We will have a little video in the bottom of your screen showing what happened, but yeah, the 39 and 81 now. Gino's up to second. Gonna try and challenge Lakin Herndon for the lead here, and he's been very aggressive. He thought about doing the same thing he did to Billy Smith there, but he backed off, and he's gonna lose some momentum here. That could allow Billy Smith to get back by. 19 and 42 still within striking distance, albeit not quite involved in the battle. They're about 1.5 seconds back, so definitely not out of it yet. JB Chanot has gained quite a few spots and is now up to 7th. Kevin DuPont has also climbed up to 10th, and this top 11 has kind of formed their own breakaway here from the rest of the pack. Shout out to Tamer and Bellinger, by the way, running inside the top 15. They have not scored a top 10 all year. It's been a very tough rebuilding year for Diamond Motorsports, and Tamarin really has had it rough, but solid run so far for the 65. That's good. That's always good to see.
Yeah, Bellinger doing good. I mean, I thought Bellinger's done pretty good, and I think as well. What's her name? Paula Sasikwa was when she led that first lap. Had it pretty impressive. Although I don't know where that 32s went now. I don't think she's anywhere close to the front anymore. But
19th.
Yeah, but I mean, those cars we saw up at the front all dropped way towards the back fairly quickly. So it's very interesting to see how it's shaken out and how everyone who was fast got through the field a lot quicker than I think we may have expected them to.
Jack Gino and Billy Smith side by side for second. Never mind, Billy Smith's able to clear, and the 39 is starting to open up a bit of a gap on the 88 and the 81. So this could be good for him as we head towards the pit cycle here soon. It's going to start in about 5 laps. They're also pulling away from this battle for 4th, and Shauna Everett's losing some spots here to the 29 and the 66 as well. We've got a proper battle between these two rival teams going on here for the 9th position. Laurie Jackson just took it from Ashley Blake, and the 57 might get in that battle as well. So the teams are going to be watching that, and just like that, the lead the 39 had just evaporated in that corner. He must have really driven it in too deep there. And now Billy Smith's right on the back bumper. So we'll see if the 88 makes a move here soon, but these tires are starting to wear out. As you can see, we've got about a second of tire fall off here for the leaders and a little bit more for the cars behind. So it'll be interesting to see when these guys end up pitting, if they decide to overcut or undercut here. And then when we get on the different sets of tires, I mean, the tires don't matter a ton here at Denver, but they matter enough to where they could possibly affect the outcome of the race, especially if we get a late race yellow.
Yeah. And the pit stops will be interesting as well, just because how they'll cycle out is going to be very interesting, because the pit road here, it's a long, very long pit road, and I think it was last season's race where there were a couple teams that had trouble. I think Marisha Vebels last year had a long pit stop because she had trouble getting into her pit stall. So
yeah, it was Marisha Vebels driving the Diamond Motorsports 58 car in that race. She had a very good run going, and then a very bad pit stop ended up putting her in the back. So that could definitely happen again. The 88 gets to the bumper of the 39, and he's going to try and get underneath. He will get underneath. And he will sail past the 39 of Lakin Herndon, so that'll put Billy Smith back in the lead, and it's really been these two. Oh, caution's out. Paula Sasikwa and Spencer Rallison. And it looks like Darren Walker also has damage. And that is going to... Oh, we're still crashing! Michael Harvin and Holly Martin have crashed on the front stretch, coming back to the caution.
Jeez. Well, that all happened at once.
Man. Well, so much for the green flag pit stops. Lap 22 of 44, exactly halfway. I mean, if we had the mid-race report like Ozco had, that would have made a lot of sense.
I guess I just brought it with me.
Maybe. Well, everyone's going to come in here, and we'll have to see who wins the race off the pit lane. But looked like two separate accidents there on lap number 21. And we will show you guys also what happened to James Harvin under this caution. So you're going to be looking at 3 incidents during this yellow. But first, we got to watch these pit stops to see who comes out in first. I mean, that looked like a really hard crash on the front stretch for Michael Harvin and Holly Martin.
Yeah, I mean, they were spinning big time. They somebody got drilled somewhere down the line, and
6 is already out, and I imagine
yeah.
the 55 is going to follow her soon. Watching the 81 of Jack Gino right now. Zach Dearman is leaving the pits, so is Kate Summers. Is this a strategy call? Oh, it's the same thing that happened at Evergreen, it looks like. It looks like they didn't service the car, so some sort of miscommunication in the pits for the 92 and the 18, and they're going to have to come in under green. Oh, Billy Smith overcooked it a little bit on the entry there, or on the exit, but he's gonna end up cycling out as the lead eventually. But I think the 92, the 18, and I think the 45 as well are going to cause some havoc on this restart. JB Chanel gained a lot of spots in the pits, ended up ahead of Jake Sidney. Looks like Rallison is still going. I saw Paula Stasiqua as well in this line here. Looks like she'll be a lap down. So she'll end up lining up on the inside on this restart, so that could cause even more havoc. So under our first caution of the race here on lap number 23, we could see quite a bit of chaos here on this ensuing restart. And we'll show you the replays of all the things that happened, and then we'll get back to the restart here at the Denver Motorsports Park. Well, this incident did not bring out a yellow. This was on lap number 13. You're going to see Corbin Taps in the 16 go up the racetrack, and he's going to hit the wall in turn number 4. James Harvin runs into him, and both cars go sideways here. Great save by the 16 of Taps, although he falls all the way to the back of the field as a result. And this really should have been a caution because there were a lot of close calls here. Paula Stasiqua almost gets into the 45. There you see the 99 of Tajima getting into the wall. That's where he got his damage. Almost got his teammate Jacob Lopez running into the back of the 45. So that really should have been a caution, but I guess the officials didn't see it, so there wasn't one. And that's going to hinder the days of both Corbin Taps and the 45 of James Harvin. And Harvin fell all the way back. Thankfully, he did catch that yellow, so he will be back in it. Doesn't look like he really got any damage, and he just kind of lost a lot of time from that.
And just to stack up here, Corbin Taps gets up into the wall here, just saps the wall. Nothing Harvin can really do. He spins. Manages to keep it from running into somebody, but I'm not really sure that I agree with that call to keep the race green after that, but it is what it is. They'll both get away clean from this, and they move on.
Our first caution of the day, Paula Stasiqua gets into Spencer Rallison, and that's just kind of some inexperience on Paula Stasiqua's part. They get into the wall. Darren Walker runs into it, has nowhere to go. And all these cars end up going around and almost took the nose off the 41. That could have been much bigger than it was. Karina Willis-Callaway should be thanking her lucky stars that she wasn't involved in that, but yeah, tough break for the 2 and the 32, as well as the 8 of Darren Walker, who already was having a bad day. I mean, he got DQ'd in qualifying, so he had to start at the back, and he was still towards the back of the field when this happened, so. And that's just a couple of drivers that haven't made very many cup starts, so sometimes you get those kind of mistakes coming from the 32 car. Just overcooked it in turn 2, and that's going to put a damper on her day. She had a good start to the day going. She had a good qualifying run, but unfortunately ended up falling behind, and now this is going to make things worse.
Paula Stasiqua drives it in, just gets in a little too deep, takes the 2 with her. Darren Walker, not much he can do. God, the 41 just barely gets through that. And just things happen so quickly off the corners here. And you see there's Harvin driving through. But things just happen so quickly here. So Suko's going to be able to continue, but not with any real pace.
On board with Karina Willis-Callaway. And here's the other incident that happened. Coming back to the caution flag, this didn't start how you would have thought. The 55's motor blows there. He goes straight into the outside wall there, just hooks a right, and then Holly Martin just slams right into the back of him. And that is going to end both of their days for sure. Heavy, heavy damage on both cars. And thankfully, nobody else ran into it. There's the 41 you see threading the needle again for the second time that lap, although that one a little less dramatic than the first one. But yeah, that was just coming back to the caution. The 55 blew up, and nothing that Holly Martin could do there. Just bad luck there, and wrong place, wrong time for the 6.
Michael Harvin coming down the front straightaway, and the engine just lets go, and he tries to veer it left into the wall to stay out of the way, but he does exactly that, the opposite of that. Bounces into the 6 car, and nowhere for the 6 car to go there. Just an unfortunate end to the day for both of those cars.
Welcome back here at the Denver Motorsports Park, wrapping up our first caution of the race on lap 25. We'll restart on lap 26. 2 cars are out of the race, Holly Martin and Michael Harvin after their accident on the front straightaway. Paula Sasikwa is going to line up as a lap car. She was also involved in the accident. Kate Summers currently scored as the race leader, but her, the 18, and the 45 pretty much didn't pit under the last caution, so they're probably going to come in under green, and that could cause some chaos here. So we're going to watch this 88 of Billy Smith because he is the highest up one that actually did service on his car. But Kate Summers in the 92 is going to lead them back to the green flag. And we are back underway here at the Denver Motorsports Park. 32 did not get up to speed at all.
That looks about right. With the damage she has, that car looks pretty messed up. So
88 of Billy Smith running around the outside. The cars in front of him do not have fresh tires. He's going to get up to second, and then he's probably going to pass the 92 here soon. But the 18 is going to get a shove from the 45, although I imagine they're all going to duck into the pits here. Lulu Connie is sending it down on the inside. She's going to end up checking up, and everyone on the outside is going to get a big run. Here comes Lakin Herndon and JB Chanot. Oh, be careful. Kevin DuPont flies through all the chaos, and he's going to come out with 5th place. And look at this. They're
my God.
line.
How are they getting through the 62 there, or the 32 there?
They're still 5 wide. There's no way this ends well.
There's no way. They're not. There's no way.
Oh,
there they go.
Vinny Schultz into the wall, Lulu Connie, and more. Big crash in turn 2.
That's the big one.
And that one's going to take out Paula Sasikwa. Tamarin Bellinger involved. That's such a shame. They were having such a good run. Adrian Fearson, Ashley Blake, Kobe Hollenbeck, I think, JT Boyd, George Bryan, Laurie Jackson. It's the big one in turn 2. There was no way that they could get out of that, although racing back to the line, JB Chanot just took the lead away from Billy Smith, so we're going to have a new leader after all that. And I believe these cars, the 92, the 18, and whoever else pitted there, are going to stay on the lead lap because of that. So, lucky break for them, I guess.
That's a pretty lucky break, because they're still I think they're still racing back, aren't they?
Let me go find them. They're still racing back.
92 and 18 are racing back, so they're going to pass the leaders here, and
yeah, they'll stay on the lead lap.
Did the 45 already come out of the pits? Did the 45 already come out of the pits as well?
Oh, be careful!
Oh, be careful!
Don't run into the other cars. He's fine.
Okay, he's good.
Gave us a bit of a heart attack there, but man, that was I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I knew this restart was going to be hectic, but I didn't expect 6 wide hectic. Have you ever seen 6 wide in a race before?
Only before a wreck.
Yeah, and I guess you could say the same here. But I'm surprised they went that long without wrecking. But
Yeah,
how did Joanna Clark get up here? Like I mean, and Tim Berry.
I think a
We
lot
saw
of
him.
it. I think a lot of that
He restarted in 27th, and now he's up to 11th. There's just no getting rid of him.
because
Man,
of those cars that those cars that pitted, that came down pit road, that kind of slowed everybody up. And you saw Kevin DuPont shoot through everybody there,
that was crazy. I've never seen anything like that.
and it just stacked everybody up.
Man, a lot of drivers that were having good runs got involved in that. Laurie Jackson, Lulu Connie, Ashley Blake, Tamron Bellinger. Looks like a lot of these drivers are going to be able to keep going, but I imagine Sasiqua's day is done. I saw the 62 of Vinnie Scholes involved in that. I believe she's still on the racetrack. Yeah, there she is. Oh, and the 45 just blew up
Wow. Okay. Well,
right after
so much,
getting.
so much for a lucky break there.
Like he did. Yeah, I guess the good luck had to be counteracted somehow. So that's gonna end James Harvin's day. Engine gone on the 45 car, so that's unfortunate for him. I think I just saw the 2 car retire from the race. Yep, he is out. Kobe Hollenbeck, Adrian Fearson, and I'd assume Paula Sasiqua are all going to be out of the race from that. But we probably need quite a few replays to see what happened there, as a multi-car crash and on an absolutely crazy restart happening in turns 1 and 2 there. We're going to show you what happened, and then we'll get back to the restart under our second caution of the race here at the Denver Motorsports Park. And here's the big one, or at least what ends up causing the big one, but we're going to start right here when the 3 cars, my goodness, Kevin DuPont absolutely flying through. When those 3 cars that didn't pit came down, and this is the craziest thing that I've ever seen on a restart. They were 6 wide there for a moment. They're 5 wide going into the corner. And then I believe they pushed 6 wide again. And the first contact's made right there with Vinnie Scholes and George Bryan, and then that just collects a bunch of others. Just nowhere for a lot of these drivers to go. 65 runs into it there at the end. 79 spinning down on the apron, and it's just complete calamity back there. Lots of cars involved, and one of the craziest restarts, maybe the craziest restart in LSCI history. And yeah, that just swept up a lot of different cars. Some of them are going to be able to continue, some of them aren't. So, and that ruined a lot of good days as well. Just the whole jam up and then the wreck that ensued after.
So there were 5 wide. They're all over the place here. Vinnie Schultz goes into the corner, tries to make the lane work, and just isn't enough room and enough grip to make that stick. And everyone gets piled into it. 2 car gets hooked by the 27 there, and got a lot of cars that took some hard hits into the outside wall. Thank goodness for these safer barriers, because otherwise it might be a very different story. But unfortunate way to end it for a lot of these drivers, because that was a huge wreck, and it's going to be a lot of cars with damage.
Welcome back to the Denver Motorsports Park. You just saw what caused our second yellow of the race. We have several cars out of the race now. The 45 you saw blow up right after waving to the back of the field. The 27, 79, 2, and 32 will all join Holly Martin and Michael Harvin in the garage area. JB Chanot, who is currently on a long winless drought that extends back to the Season 2 Lumen 500, is your race leader. The 88 of Billy Smith in second, Lakin Herndon in third. The top 3 have not won this season. In fact, the only one in the top 8 that has a win this season is the 19 of Jake Sidney, who's currently in P4. So we could have ourselves a new winner here today. Chanot is across the line, and we are back underway here at the Denver Motorsports Park. Billy Smith trying to find a way around her on the restart. Not the greatest of jumps for the 29. We'll see if the 88's able to get under in the corner. It doesn't look like he will, at least not initially.
Just gonna stay behind Chanel for now. I feel like every time I'm in the booth, Chanel's like always really close to winning, but never is able to get it done.
Here comes Shauna Everett taking it 3 wide for P4. She wants some vengeance after kind of getting robbed of a win last week at Kentucky. Lakin Herndon slows up in the corner. This 3 wide is going to be for third now, but it looks like the 57 is going to lose some momentum. Here comes Billy Smith. Here comes Kevin DuPont, who we saw make that crazy move on that restart.
He's going to make another crazy move.
Another one here. 3 wide for the lead into turn 1. Is he going to make it stick on the inside? It looks like he will. And our defending champion is going to take the lead here at Denver.
Dang, he really showed up just out of nowhere, and now he's gotten out front. That's impressive for DuPont.
Jake Sidney in second, Shauna Everett third, Cooper Spur is in fourth. He only has 1 top 10 all year. That was a third place at Mosport. And he's found his way up here into the top 4. Tim Berry, who we saw 27th not too long ago, he's making some crazy moves, and I don't think that's the last spot he's going to get either. He is charging through the field in that 11 car, and that is the last thing that anyone else in this field wants to see. He's taking it 3 wide for 4th, and he might go for 3rd here. Did something happen in the
wall in the background? Yeah, the 66, I think, on the wall. Yeah,
Landry into the wall.
Tyler Landry.
Lots of cars off the pace with damage here, but I don't think any of them are going to interfere with the win. Shauna Everett is up to 2nd. Barry's up to 3rd. Chanel 4th. And they're fighting amongst themselves. How about Joanna Clark up here in the top 10? Karina Willis-Callaway was in the top 10, but she just got into the wall, so she's going to lose all those positions. And here we go for the lead. Shauna Everett, she led that last lap by 6 1/1000ths of a second. She wants that win. 2nd race in a row where she's going to have a chance here, but she's going to go way up the track, and that's going to give Tim Berry an opportunity to get to her. They're going to make contact off of turn 2.
And Tim Berry, this is exactly what he wants. Get out front, keep that points lead extending, and especially now Landry having trouble. You know, this is just everything's benefiting Tim Berry even more. He may have a 100-point lead by the time this race is over.
I wouldn't doubt it because the 16's still in the back. They did repair the damage. He is gaining some spots, actually, but still. And Zach Dearman, keep an eye on him. He has fresher tires than the cars in front of him, so he could gain some spots here. Here comes DuPont to the inside, and this was the battle through last season. It was between Tim Berry and Kevin DuPont for the championship. He had to check up, though, in the corner to avoid getting into the 11, but the 11's still washed up on the outside. They're going to be side by side, and I think they're wrecking in the back. I saw some smoke. Adrian Wheeler's off the pace, but it looks like he saved it.
40 spun.
So
I think the 40 might have spun, but I think we're okay.
I think
this would be the most Zach Dearman way to win a race for Zach Dearman, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He is our version of Kevin Harvick. He's the closer. He's never led more than 6 laps in any of his 4 wins. But Dearman's not having the best time going through the pack, though. He has gained about 10 spots since the restart, but he's kind of starting to peter out here. DuPont sliding up the racetrack. Here comes Everett and Cooper Spur on the inside. Joanna Clark's up in the top 5. Imagine if she gets the win for Diamond Motorsports. That would be a huge upset, and Shauna Everett's going to charge back to the lead in the number 57. This has been an outstanding battle for the win here at Denver Motorsports Park. The 11's getting a little too close to the 1 here, going through turn 4, right on the back bumper, but thankfully no contact made. But the 57 of Shauna Everett had the win in the bag at Kentucky last week, got screwed over by a phantom debris caution, and now she is about 7 laps away from trying to get vengeance, but she's got to hold off a pack of hungry drivers behind her, including some drivers that, I'll be honest, I didn't expect to be up here today.
Joanna Clark's up here in the 58 car. She's running very well. You got Cooper Spur, who's managed to get their way up here. There's Tim Berry, Kevin DuPont, defending champion. This is a great battle for the win. This is an extremely incredible battle for the win, in fact. And I would not count out anything until we see that checkered flag wave.
The 11 of Tim Berry has retaken the lead from Shauna Everett here. Cooper Spur might go for second on the 57. That's what he's going to do, almost getting into her. Everett's not going to give up that easy. She knows she had one taken away from her last week, so you know that she's going to be driving with a chip on her shoulder. She's drafting up to the back of the 11. Will she try and make a move into turn number 3? She's going to get very close to the rear bumper of the 11, and she's going to get under him, but doesn't have the momentum. She had to check up. So the 11's going to keep the lead. The 24 is going to move up to third. Don't look now. Here comes Jacob Lopez out of nowhere. Here comes Corbin Taps out of nowhere. We got a couple more drivers trying to get involved in this battle as well. So who's to say it's not anyone from this top 4 that wins it? It could be Jacob Lopez. It could be Billy Smith. Big send by the 50 in turns 1 and 2. That's going to allow the 88 to get underneath him. The 11 trying to extend his lead. Going into 3 and 4, he's trying to open up a gap on the 57. Here comes the 1 of DuPont for third on the 24 of Spur. But Spur's holding him off for now, and now the 1 gets the lane to the inside.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw someone from outside this top 5 right now drive their way through here and maybe steal a win away here in the last lap.
Charlie McCarron's in the top 10.
4 laps to go. That's still plenty of time.
Cooper Spur going for second on the 57 of Shauna Everett. This is what Tim Berry wants to see. They're fighting each other and not him, but they are closing in on him down the back straightaway. So he is definitely not home free yet. There's going to be 3 laps to go next time by. Tim Berry is going to have to hold them all off to try and get his second win of the season. He's sliding up the track. This could give an opportunity for Everett and Spur. Spur's going to get underneath Everett for second here. And this would be an upset win as well if Cooper Spur manages to get the victory here. Shauna Everett arguably could be an upset too. This team has never won a points race before. And that's something that we mentioned quite a bit in the race at Kentucky as well. But Tim Berry's doing a good job right now, holding on to the lead. The 24 checks up in the corner in front of the 50 of Jacob Lopez, who is on rails here in this last part of the race. Charlie McCarron up to 7th. She started outside the top 30, so this is going to be a great run for the 85 car if she can keep it going. Lopez down to the inside, trying to get past the 24, but there's nowhere to go. 57's keeping pace with the 11, but she's going to have to start gaining here soon. There's only 2 laps to go.
Yeah, and there's not much time now. I think if you're, if you're Everett, you got to make this move. You got to make something happen now, because Berry's starting to drive away a little bit, and it doesn't really, at this point, if you're Shauna Everett, I think going for points doesn't matter. You want the win. She wants that win, especially after what happened last week. So and I think, Everett's got to go for something now, but I don't think she's keeping the 11 within reach.
Here we go, coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go here at the Denver Motorsports Park. The 57 trying to get the drive off the outside. This is the track where she got her first and so far only career win. But it's the white flag in the air. 1 lap to go for Tim Berry, trying to put the championship away this early in the season with another win. He's going to have to hold off Shauna Everett, though, for 1 more lap. They're fighting for third behind. Not the greatest entry by the 11, but not the greatest entry by the 57 either, so they cancel each other out. Jacob Lopez is going to slide into third, and he might fight the 57 for second, and if that happens, that's probably going to seal the deal. Coming through turn number 3. Stacking up behind him for second. Tim Berry's just got to make it out of turn 4, and it looks like he's going to. Run down to the finish line. They're gaining on him, but not enough. Coming out of turn 4, Tim Berry is going to hold off Shauna Everett. Not by much, though, but he's going to get his second win of the season and extend his points lead probably into the hundreds.
Who won at Fontana?
It was Tim Berry.
So he's 2 for 2 when I show up in the booth. Yeah, how about that?
And Auto Club is pretty similar to Denver in a lot of aspects, so yeah, Tim Berry just continues his reign of dominance. Just when you think that he might be having a bad day, he was down in 27th He managed to navigate through the chaos on the restart, and even then, he didn't restart that high up. He still had to work his way all the way up to the lead. So Tim Berry, there's no question that he is the best driver in LSCI right now by a wide margin. And he's just been doing some impressive stuff here this season. And that's, again, it's surprising that that's only his second win of the season. And that's the 7th win for McPicky Motorsports in 16 races. So they've won almost half. You know that team, on top of having one of the best drivers in LSCI, that team has been putting together some of the best cars in LSCI as well. But yeah, Tim Berry gets the win here today. It was an action-packed race from start to finish. Shauna Everett, once again, heartbreak for the 57. She had chances there at the end to hold him off, but the 11 was just a little bit better. And, maybe if she had a couple more laps. She had quite a big run on the 11 there coming to the line. Maybe if there was a couple more laps, she would have had a chance. Jacob Lopez finishes in 3rd, and he kind of came out of nowhere too, so that's a good run for him. Kevin DuPont, very impressive in this race. He made a lot of crazy moves. He's going to get a 4th place finish. Joanna Clark gets Diamond Motorsports their first top 5 of the year. Absolutely outstanding run from the 58. 24 of Cooper Spur, same for him. That's a lot of Hondas in the top 10. The 1, the 58, the 24, and the 85. And a lot of these drivers weren't really up front for most of this race. I mean, actually, Cooper Spur was in the top 15 for pretty much the whole race, so he ran a very great race in the 24 car. Jack Gino, JB Chanel, Laken Herndon round out the top 10 here today. 28 cars finishing on the lead lap, and that's also everybody that finished. A lot of these cars back here were, of course, involved in that big one in turns 1 and 2 and were off the pace, and that's also where a lot of their retirements came from. James Harvin, Adrian Ferguson, Kobe Hollenbeck, and then Rallison, Sasequa Harvin, and Martin all out of the race here today. But, well, Echo, that was a thrilling race, like I said, from start to finish. And ended up being Tim Berry getting the win here today. And what did you think of that race? And maybe you can give us a preview for next week, which I believe is at Watkins Glen International.
Yeah, a really, really good race. I thought it was very interesting seeing how the cars were able to take the corners, and I think the most fun part to me, that especially that finish was great. These drivers had to hang on. I think Everett would have done it if she had one more lap, but she just didn't have it. Didn't have enough to get there. Tim Berry hangs on for the win, and how about that for Tim Berry? Finally able to get that second win of the season and extend the point lead. Unfortunate for Sean Everett, who has been so close so many times, but I think if you're one of those drivers, that's trying to chase down the Berry for the championship, this is probably the worst thing that could have happened for you. I
Yeah,
still thought this was a great race. Great race. Really good racing all throughout. Some interesting moments in it, but overall, I thought it was really fun.
yeah. And next week we're going to be headed to the 2.45 mile road course at Watkins Glen. That's going to be a 32 lap race. That's going to be a fun one for sure. Watkins Glen, one of the best road courses in NR. We've had quite a few fun moments there, even back to the first season when Zach Dearman and Charlie McCarran battled for the race win at the end there. And looking at the points, I mean, Corbin Taps finished 12th, Zach Dearman finished 11th, Tyler Landry finished 19th, Darren Walker finished 28th. None of them even finished inside the top 10. And it's just, this is why Tim Berry has a massive points lead, because nobody is as consistently good as him. And it seems like anytime he has a bad race, the others also have a bad race. And it was looking like he was going to have a bad race here today too, but he actually managed to rally back and win anyway. So, I mean, if the first 15 weeks didn't already cement Tim Berry as the class of the field here, this one definitely did. But it was he had to earn this one, that's for sure. He did not have it handed to him. So props to him. Props to McPicky Motorsports on their 7th win of the season. They already broke the record for most wins by a team last week with Tyler Landry. Now they're just kind of extending that record as well. But great race here today at the Denver Motorsports Park. It definitely overachieved, I think. I was not expecting a race quite as chaotic as this one, but Yeah, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for watching this race. And on behalf of Echo Evans Ross, this is Brendan Wilmington from the Left Turn Network signing out. Here are your points after race number 16 of the season, which will be on your screen right now.